I held on to my mind and my faith so that today I am blessed to actually see so many of the changes in this world that we dreamed would take shape. And now, I can share what got me through, my guiding philosophy, so that anyone feeling victimized by peers, or impatient with our government, offended by the inequities of our economy, or wondering about the road to success, will be inspired. We have come a great distance as a society, but we still have a great distance to go. The progress we take for granted today, brought on by the successes of the modern-day civil rights movement, is just one more step down a very long road toward the realization of our spiritual destiny as a nation of freedom and justice for all. There is still much more work to do. One movement will never offer all the growth humanity needs to experience. To expect so is to build your hopes on a puff of smoke, on a whispered breath. It is to anticipate illusion. Remember how we thought the election of President Obama meant we had finally created a post-racial America? A place where the problems that have haunted us for so long were finally silenced. Nobody says that anymore. We no longer dwell in that daydream. We were shaken to realism by the harshness of what we have witnessed in the last few years. The vilification of President Obama, a drive to wreck his legacy, to undo the progress we have made as a nation in the last 100 years. A disdain for the sick and the poor, militarization of the police, and the weaponizing of government not to serve as an advocate, but as an agent of oppression and compliance. We have seen the suicide of Khalif Browder, who died trying to defend his innocence in a system that could only see his guilt. The deaths of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, and scores of black and brown men and women where few to none are held accountable. We have seen the rise of hate groups in America, murder at the Holocaust Museum, the mass deportation of immigrants, the harassment and murder of Muslims. Political parties are on the hunt to search and destroy each other, as though we were involved in some kind of enemy combat rather than the work of statesmanship. Campaigns have become a free-for-all of dirty tricks, scandal-mongering, and distracting negativity that obscures the people's need to examine a candidate's voting record and see where he or she actually stands on the issues. I find myself asking my colleagues today, why do we have to be so mean? Is there something in the air we breathe or the water we drink that incites us to bring one another down, to violate one another with so much glee? President Obama was called a liar during a joint session of Congress at a State of the Union address. It was probably the lowest point of decorum I have witnessed in more than 20 years in the Congress. A campaign volunteer aggressively subdued a woman and stomped on her head prior to a 2010 senatorial debate in Kentucky. The woman, who was holding a satirical sign, had approached the candidate she opposed for a photo. The campaign volunteer said he acted to protect the candidate, but commentators speculated that he was enraged by the woman's sign, regardless of the cause. The assault, which was caught on video, was shocking. Ironically, the abuser went on to demand an apology from the victim, saying, "I would like for her to apologize to me, to be honest with you." But once we witnessed this kind of tragedy, it seemed we had not had enough. In the next national election, the intolerance of difference got even worse. It became a rallying cry couched in code words, "Make America great again," as though diversity had damaged, not uplifted our civilization. Even I, who has looked down the barrel of a gun with only my faith to defend me, would say there is a unique hostility in these times that almost seems worse to me than what we experienced in the 1960s. It is true, we were confronted with state-sponsored brutality, and people died because of the complete